Hello and welcome to a new vlog and trip report. Today we are traveling with a TGV Duplex from Paris to Stuttgart in Germany, and here on the map you can see our route today. We're starting at the station Gare de l'Est in Paris, and then we're using the LGV Est Européen to Strasbourg, and then we're continuing on via Karlsruhe to Stuttgart. Here we can see the station Gare de l'Est. It's not my favorite station in Paris. It is quite big and has a few shops, but there are not too many possibilities to sit down. There are not many restaurants and cafes, so I would recommend to not come too early to the station, especially because the platforms are only announced a couple of minutes before departure. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to arrive too early at the platform. Here we can see the interior of the TGV Duplex. The TGV Duplex has already been part of a couple of videos, but I'm still going to show you the interior once again in first class with the 2+1 configuration. Seats are very comfortable. We have movable armrests, power sockets, small trash bin, footrests, and a very big and sturdy table, which is very good for working. The seats can be adjusted electrically, and you can see the seat pitch here. In my last videos I got a lot of comments saying that the ICE is better than the TGV due to the tight seat pitch in the TGV. I'm 1.95 m, and even if the seat is fully extended, I still have enough space. So in my opinion, the seat pitch is not too tight. I personally think it's quite nice because you're pretty close to the table, which is ideal for working on a laptop. But I will tell you later on a bit more about the differences between the ICE and the TGV and why I would prefer the TGV, but I will also tell you what are the advantages of the ICE in my opinion. We're now using the LGV Est Européen. We've already seen that railway line in one video, so I'm not talking too much about this part, but in my last video we left the railway line a bit earlier. Now we're seeing the rest of the line until Strasbourg later on in the video. In my case, I was quite happy that I chose the TGV because the ICE had some technical problems on its way into Paris and was therefore delayed a couple of hours actually. And even though it was supposed to leave more than 1 hour before my train, it left after the TGV. So my train was delayed about 20 to 30 minutes and the ICE was delayed almost 2 hours. So in this case, the TGV was also faster, even though it left later than the ICE. Here we have just seen the railway line branching off in the direction of Saarbrücken. That's the line that we have used the last time. We have also seen railway line coming from Metz. So now we're on the part of the LGV Est Européen that we haven't seen yet in the video. Here we are crossing a small interesting canal and we're getting close to Saarbrück, where there is another connection with the LGV Est Européen that is very rarely used. I think only one TGV a day is using that connection. But for us, of course, the next stop will be Strasbourg. To get there, we have to cross the Tunnel de Saverne, which is more than 4 kilometers long, and then we are reaching the Rhine area. And now I can tell you a bit more about the advantages and disadvantages of the TGV and the ICE. In my opinion, the ICE looks a bit more modern. It has the better seat pitch in both classes, and also the food on board of the ICE is much better than the food on the TGV. But in my opinion, the seats on the TGV are more comfortable, they are softer, and the TGV also has a much better table. You can put your laptop there, work on the laptop, and you have still enough space to put a drink there as well. That's impossible on the German ICE that is used on the trains between Paris and Germany. Therefore, in my personal opinion, I prefer the TGV, but of course that's up to you. And if you do not have to travel at a certain time, of course, you can choose whatever you personally prefer. I personally prefer the TGV. In this case, it was also faster as the IC had some technical problems. But of course, that was just the situation on the day that I traveled. We're now slowly approaching Strasbourg, which is the last stop in France. Here we can see a Regiolis train, and as you can see, it has a special livery. This is the livery for the trains that can operate both in Germany and in France. So those trains are used for services between the two countries. We're now approaching simultaneously the station of Strasbourg, and here the border police came on board for some border controls, and they were much stricter than last time. Last time when I was going via Saarbrücken, they just checked few passengers, but this time they checked every single passenger on the train. They came on board in Strasbourg and stayed until Kiel. We had an extra stop in Kiel for the passport controls. We also stopped there for quite a while, even though the police already came on board in Strasbourg. We still waited there for a couple of minutes. It's not included in the schedule, but it's a remark that there will be most probably a delay due to border controls. And we also stayed here for quite a while, and we were a bit delayed after that, but eventually we continued on in the direction of Karlsruhe. In Germany we experienced a very beautiful sunset, and then we are slowly approaching the station of Karlsruhe, and then we are connecting on to Stuttgart. After Karlsruhe it was getting dark outside, so it was a bit more difficult to film, so we will not see that much of the part between Karlsruhe and Stuttgart. Here we are approaching Karlsruhe main station. Then we are heading to the high-speed line, which is then bringing us to Stuttgart, where this train will end. It was a nice and comfortable train ride. I was starting in Le Havre in the morning, and I'm now in Stuttgart in the evening. Just with a little delay due to the border controls, we are now approaching Stuttgart main station. So it is possible to go from Le Havre to Germany in one day. The only problem is changing the stations in Paris, which always takes a bit of time, and you need to plan some extra time for that. Otherwise, it was a nice and comfortable ride, and that's it for this video. In the next video we will continue somewhere completely else. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.